Why do smart, motivated women stop doing things that were already working? Not things that they never started, things that were working until they weren't. It's because the breakdown isn't what we think it is. And as long as we keep thinking we're the problem, well, you're never going to get to the real issue.
Live from the Never Too Late stage in sunny Sarasota, Florida, it's the Never Too Late Show. One mic, one mission, one woman who knows how to stir things up. Here's your host, Teresa Bueno.
I have 26 financial statements to download and process every month. Each month, I'd let them pile up until I hated myself and the paperwork equally. Until one day, I had a stroke of genius. Handle each one the moment it hits my inbox. Brilliant. I now had a system. It took 5 minutes. Just stop what I was doing, download a statement, put it in the file, done. For 2 weeks, it worked perfectly. I was so proud. I was even telling my husband, Othan, about my new system. And then one Tuesday, a notice came in while I was in the middle of something important. And the little voice goes off. You can do that later, saith the voice in my head. Here's what I want you to do. Think of a number between 1 and 26. After that interruption, how many statements do you think were piled up by the end of the week? Hold on to that number. We're coming back to it because something happened before the pile showed up that I didn't see coming. And it's the same thing that happens to every woman I've ever worked with who stops whenever she's doing something that mattered to her. I need to tell you about a woman I coached first before we talk about anything more. Let's just call her Susan. She'd been wanting to write for years. Not a book, just personal essays, things she'd lived through. And she knew other women, especially young corporate women, would really benefit from hearing about. She finally started. 6 a.m., coffee, 45 minutes of writing, 3 weeks straight. She told me she felt more like herself than she had in years. Then her sister came for a visit. Susan was thrilled. But suddenly the routine changed and the writing stopped, just like that. Now, I want you to hold on to two questions at once. What actually derailed Susan? And what does any of this have to do with my 26 financial statements? Stay with me now. Come on. The sister visited, right? Late nights, wine, talking until midnight. And when 6 o'clock came, Susan just didn't feel like writing, which she turned into, I'm not really a writer. The 3 weeks were a fluke. This is really who I am. Just all from one tired morning, a full character verdict. And her whole writing system was out the window. The moment the routine broke, she didn't ask, what was missing from my system? No. She asked, what's wrong with me? Same thing happened for me. Remember my financial statements? Well, the answer is 12 notifications in my inbox after that first breakdown. And I could not bring myself to open a single one. How close was your guess? Not one of those 12 statements was the problem. So if the pile wasn't the problem, then what was? The problem was that I decided 12 statements meant something about me. Oh, I always do this. My systems never last. What's wrong with me? I missed one Tuesday. My brain turned it into a personality trait. And there's the thing nobody tells you. Beating yourself up feels productive. It feels like accountability. It feels like at least you're taking it seriously. Susan did it. I did it. Every woman I've ever worked with has done it. And none of us actually get back on track until we stopped asking what was wrong with us and started asking, What was the system missing? Because beating yourself up doesn't do a thing about the pile of statements. It does nothing about the blank page. It just keeps you stuck in some story about who you are instead of solving the real problem. So, what is actually going on when this happens? Neither of us had answered one question in advance. What happens when I'm not at my best and it's time to do the thing? That's the gap. We built systems that worked beautifully under perfect conditions, but the moment conditions stopped being perfect, well, there was nothing built in to keep us on track or to get us back on track. So the what now decision got made for us. Skip it. I don't feel like it. Skip it. That one skip day turned into a diagnosis about who we are. Susan didn't need more discipline. She needed a short detour for the mornings she didn't feel like getting out of bed at 6 a.m. to write. If she misses the morning, maybe she reads one paragraph after lunch or writes one sentence or two before bed. The point wasn't protecting the perfect routine, the perfect system. It was making sure one tired morning didn't turn into, I guess I'm not a writer after all. When you stop something that matters to you, it isn't a character flaw. There was just nothing built in to get back on track. The question that changes everything isn't what's wrong with me. It's what happens the moment things get hard. When I slipped, what was missing? A recoup move, 2 10-minute catch-up blocks on my calendar to get me caught up on any statements I had missed. That's all I needed. Not a personality overhaul, not a better morning routine for Susan, just a way to get back on track. Now, when I slip, I know what to do next. There's no guilt, there's a plan. Think about the thing you started and stopped. You already know what it is. It's been sitting next to you this whole episode. Stop asking what's wrong with you. Ask, what can you do the moment things stop being easy? Ask what your system needs that it doesn't have. That question won't just change how you see the thing you stopped. It will change how you see everything you've ever stopped, because the problem was never you in the first place. I built a free tool called the Follow Through GPS to help you discover how to get back on track. It's short, specific. It will take far less time that you've already spent feeling bad about the thing that just came to mind. You can grab it at teresabueno.com/GPS. If this episode hit, send it to a woman who needs to hear it. A note that says, I thought of you is enough. Hey, I'll see you next week. And remember, it's never too late.